Yo, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? Good to see you again. And we've got one of the last Black Yellow Luffy matchups that I had recorded, and this is going up against my man Will here. We're both 2-0 going into this match, and I believe this was for the winner card as well as, you know, just for the win overall at the locals. And I am playing that good old Black Yellow Luffy, and Will is rocking the Gecko Moria. And we end up doing the dice roll here. I end up getting an 8, and he rolls into a 7. So I'll take the win here. I do kind of like, I don't know. I have like a hard time whether I want to take second or first, but I think I do end up deciding to take second for this matchup. I'll be honest, I haven't played this matchup too many times, so I'm not entirely sure if that's correct or not. We did end up drawing into a pretty solid starting hand, but I was looking for the 5-cost Sabo blocker. I really do want to see that card for this matchup. It's extremely important, just being able to protect my entire board. And yeah, not having it, a little scary. So I'm going to go ahead and mulligan, see if we can get lucky and draw into it. And look at that, 2 of them in the starting hand. Absolutely set up for success right here. Sindri is going to get some useful cards into his trash, so pretty solid start for him as well. I will go ahead and use Garp, and we find one of the 2-cost Sabos, so very great choice for us. I'm looking, and I already do have one as well as one of the aces, but never bad to have more of those 2-cost Sabos in hand. As much as I love having Gecko Moria in this list, it's very inconsistent to draw into, so just having as many of those as possible is very useful just in case we do get a little unfortunate. He's just going to attach 3 Dawn to his leader though and just pass. He's not going to actually swing. He knows that the starve mechanic is very nice in this matchup. It works exceptionally well for him. I'm just going to go 5 and then a 6k as well. Want to force out the 2k from hand and see what his reaction to, you know, maybe just some of these early swings are. I don't really have any plays here, not having like Hiyori in hand to go ahead and like start to, you know, kind of ramp out some of the characters that I'd like. I know that he's already got Absalom as well, so playing down Ace doesn't really feel like it does me all too much, but he is going to swing 6 into life here. And now using that hogback to potentially just like get a card, get either a 2k or even a 8-cost Moria if he did end up milling that with Sindri before. It looks as though he's just going to pick up the Perona though, returning Sindri and I believe Sindri and Rebecca to the bottom of the deck. Going up to 6 though, this is nice because now drawing into Hiyori, I do have the option of potentially playing out, you know, some 2-cost shenanigans, but I'm more happy with just playing Sabo here, getting useful cards into the trash that I need for the rest of the game, as well as picking up that good old-fashioned Gecko Moria. It's just so good in this spot. I'm kind of wondering whether I should be trashing Sabo this early or not, but I choose to just go with Luffy as well as an ace. And I'm going to keep Sabo alive, though. In the hand, I just want to make sure that I could potentially play it the following turn. Just kind of depends. And look at this power stance over here on the right side. Love to see it. Coming to check out the match. But he's going up to 7. 7's actually a pretty solid number for him, all consideration with the Dawn, so he can get down like a 4-cost Kuzan as well as potentially leader effect to either bring out Absalom or another why am I forgetting the name of it, another hogback. But instead just opting the route of using Sindri here. Sindri's just gonna potentially get him some of the cards maybe he's looking to get back. So like we did see the 8-cost Moria here. It's going to be a pretty important card to have in this matchup as well. If he doesn't get Moria down onto the board in this match, it's going to be rather difficult for him to swing into my leader once I'm at, you know, the coveted 9k. So Moria is just kind of like that free that free, like, no stress swing every single turn, which is really nice. And now we're just going to see a 9k swing going into life using that leader effect. I would imagine if he has Hogback, it's going to be for the Hogback to get back Moria, but we are just going to see Lucci being trashed and another 8 cost. So I don't believe he has another Moria in trash at the moment, which makes me feel great right now. I am ecstatic to see the fact that 2 of those are in trash, and he actually chooses to use the Sentry again. And you can see I'm just kind of laughing. I'm just laughing because I couldn't believe, like, he's used Sentry 3 times and only seen 1 Hogback, so there is no world where I'm just gonna, like, allow Hogback to be taken off the board if he hasn't seen a second one. I don't want him to get that 8 cost Moria. This is just really unfortunate for my opponent here and very fortunate for us. As you can see, our hand size is insane as well. Hiyori's going to allow us to get to that spot where we can use leader effect also. So putting Ace into hand and now being able to use leader effect, I can go ahead and trash a card. Yeah, just get rid of Sabo, because we're just going to put those 2 back in either way. So now I can just rest 4 and get Ace as well as Sabo out. Kind of developing everything that I want right now. Just protecting the board, leader going up to 9k. I have a swing with Ace, I have a swing with Sabo. And Sabo's going to draw me 2 more. I get to get another Gecko Moria. I mean, we are just eating good right now. We are eating exceptionally well. But the 6k he is going to counter out of. 7k does get taken as well as the 9. So putting him at 1 life right now while having so many options in hand. I mean, we're just looking great. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I have like 2 Sabos in hand, 2 Aces. The Sabo and Ace in trash that can be brought back with Moria. It doesn't get much better than this. I know that he's more than likely not going to be able to swing into my 9k, so he's just going to go ahead and play Sabo and Rebecca. If you're wondering why he played Sabo first and then played Rebecca, it was actually a slight bit of... or no, excuse me, it wasn't an error. He drew into the Rebecca off of Sabo, so it totally makes sense. It does leave Rebecca susceptible, but he just didn't have it beforehand. Is going to use Rebecca to pick up the 5 cost blocker, though. He knows he'll probably need it for the following turns also. Not seeing Moria still is just it's just rough. Like, he's looking really rough right now. And now I do believe, I could be wrong, but I do believe that I make a mistake. It's either in this match or it's in the next match that I was very looking forward to kind of going over, because it's not like the biggest mistake in the world, but it's a mistake that I am trying to get better about not making in the future also. And I'm going to go ahead and use leader effect to trash a Luffy here. And I'm going to go ahead and put back a Sabo and an Ace. And now what I could have done potentially a little bit better was I played Moria second. And now what I should have done, and I ended up realizing this a little too late, is that I play Moria to get the 2 kids out and I put a Sabo into trash. I realize now that what I could have done was play Moria after swinging with Sabo and put the kids down before using leader effect, and that would have allowed me to at least have the 5 cost Sabo put into my life, and then I could have played it out more comfortably. He does get out of this 7k swing, and now I'm starting to realize, like, if I use the Sabo, like, he could just attach everything to lead, and I actually don't have enough counter. So I'm actually going through and explaining to him, but also myself, that I sort of messed up. Like, I think I just could have done it a little bit better. That I could have had the 5 cost Sabo on the board active. And yeah, I'm talking about how I could have placed that over it and had the 2 kids. But it works out. I end up going up to 7k here. I have 1 life. I left the Sabo there just because I realized my own mistake. And I realized that I needed to absorb 1 hit. at the minimum. So with him only having a 5k on board as well as a 5 with leader, his best option here is to go like 10-10. You can't double block up because we just have too many swings for the following turn. You're not able to remove enough that it's relevant, you know, that I can't still just go for game the turn after. So not seeing Moria has really hurt my opponent on this match, but slight misplay on our part almost ended the game. But a 10k swing, I'm just going to go ahead and take it to goad my opponent into going 10k again. And I do end up having the Hiyori as 2 1Ks to get to 11. So we end up taking game 1, and we do end up playing out a second match because I think this matchup is, honestly, it's very interesting. I think it does boil down a lot to Gecko Moria being able to see the 8 cost like pretty consistently. If you're able to see 2 of them, the matchup does become pretty bearable. But also... just having, and look at that, what a Makino search. But I do end up seeing 2 more of the 5 cost Sabos in life, which is just absolutely insane. I mean, can't really beat it. I choose to reorganize this a little bit better though. I wanted to have Sabo into Makino and the final life being Sabo because I could probably play that out once it gets a little bit closer. And my opponent chose to go second this time to get me off of that curve. Very smart. Using the Sindri again, though, even though it did him kind of dirty last time. Gets an Absalom into trash at least, which is very useful. But for us being on odds right now, I don't really have, like, too many great plays. So I'm just going to go ahead and use the search. I can get the 2 cost Sabo here more than likely. It is a bit of a shame, though. I'm looking at the hand. And I'm thinking to myself, man, I'm bottom decking so many like useful 5 costs, and I'm trying to work with it in my mind. Like, is it worth potentially picking one of them up? But I decided it isn't because I know that I have the Sabos in life, and we will just go ahead and use one right here. And now this allows me to draw into a couple more. Obviously, we don't need ace. Twice in hand, so I'll go ahead and trash one of those as well as the Sabo and swing a nice little 7 into life. I don't hate having used the Sabo early like we do because we have Moria in hand, but it is also, it doesn't feel fantastic because, you know, my opponent a lot of the times won't swing into my life, but this time around he decides to just to get the Perona out and to pressure me just a little bit. The Perona is actually really nice in mitigating our hand size. I'm debating on whether I want to trash the ace or not, but I actually choose to go with the 2 cost ace here. I didn't want to give him the 5 cost because I will personally want to play out the 5 cost this turn and get a little aggressive, have a body on board that he's going to be kind of annoyed to deal with. And I'm going to go 6 with Sabo as well. Oh, man. Oh, I'm risking it for the biscuit. Okay. I think now with our hand size, we've just decided to pivot a little bit. This forces him to go pretty aggressive into life. I know that I can survive, and then I would just have the Sabo and ace still alive if he doesn't commit to those. Getting me to 0 here, obviously... is great for me. However, I'm going to have to counter out of the second swing if he does go pretty heavy into that. But lucky for us, he does choose to use the brand new to search out a card, which takes away 2 Dawn at least from, you know, potential swings at life now. I think this is only, yeah, 4 Dawn left. So little 5k swing. I'm probably going to have to counter out, but 6k into Sabo, I think I can actually just let this go pretty freely, considering I know what's in my last life. I might counter out, though, just to have Sabo in trash. But if he swings 6 again, I think I'm just, I think where my headspace was at this exact moment is it feels as though I'm kind of on a ticking time bomb. With how much, how many resources I have in hand, and you know what I have to answer my opponent's potential Moria play. So I'm thinking like, okay, I got him at 2 life. I could probably get him to 0 this turn. And if I can get him to 0 this turn, then we're looking pretty good. There's also using Hiyori to just bring back the Sabo and go to 0 life and use leader effect immediately. But I'm just going to see what a 7k does first. I want to test the waters. If he does counter out of this, I know that I don't have to probably go as heavy as I did prior to. So I'm just going to play Hiyori and choose not to add 1 back to life. But I'm going to trash the Sabo and just go ahead and bring back Ace as well as the Sabo also. I'm kind of deciding which one because I'm thinking whatever he attacks into, I might potentially lose. And it might get bottom decked. But I think I'm fine with the 5-cost Sabo because I already have 2 in trash. So, using Ace, I get this out, and now I got an 8k swing as well as a 9k swing into life. If 8's going to connect, I'm more than certain that 9's going to connect as well. And I can tell that he's pretty annoyed. He's like, man, this is so annoying. Like, I have to take a 9k swing and go to 0 when I have no blockers on board, and you know, you want to play Moria on curve, but you can't now. I mean, like, you arguably can, but you're gonna be in a pretty bad spot if so. It's funny, I end up moving the brand new because I think the light was just a little blinding at that exact moment. Yeah, but he's in a bit of a pickle now. He is in a bit of a pickle. Like, 8-cost Moria obviously wants to be played, but it really doesn't feel good. It does not feel good whatsoever. I've got a 7k leader as well as the 1 life. Obviously, just bottom decking Sabo isn't the worst thing in the world also. So, for him to swing into anything, whether it's Ace, Luffy, it's just a very inconvenient turn for Moria. And that's why this matchup just feels really nice, because you have the option of playing defensive and aggressive, or a bit of, you know, one or the other. Right, this turn, or excuse me, this game, we went more of like the offensive route, and that not having such a larger hand size like we did in the first game. In that first game, we were definitely able to, you know, really kind of draw as much as possible and, you know, stay healthy in hand size while also playing extremely defensively with Sabo. But just having the 2 aces here is really nice. Any which way my opponent goes is pretty much just good for me. We also have the 8-cost Moria the following turn. The tough part about Moria is that we will be at 9, so that's why being on the odd curve is not great. If you want to beat Black Yellow Luffy, take the evens every single time. Go second. Because this is where, you know, like, me having a small hand size is actually really, really inconvenient. It looks as though he is... Oh, never mind. Oh. We're just going to play 2 Rebeccas down and pick up 2... what is it? 2 Peronas for the 2k counters. Getting down Hina as well. Very solid. We top deck another ace. I think it's kind of ridiculous. Not that we realistically need it, but it's a little crazy. I could play the 8-cost Moria, but it just doesn't feel as good as it potentially will the next turn. But I know that with us having 1 life, that Sabo definitely needs to come down no matter what. I'm probably not going to be able to get to a 9k leader this turn. There is a world where I can if I just play Sabo from the 2 cost in hand and then use leader effect afterwards, but we still have a lot of ways to be aggressive, so I'm just going to go 7 first. We're going to get a Helmeppo as well as a Perona. Another 7 is going to get 2 more Peronas again. I think that maybe, I feel like that block would have been pretty nice for him, but since we were just going ace again, I totally understand why. Yeah, it makes sense. But now I'll just go ahead and use Sabo to bring out the 5 cost. I get to cycle the hand a little bit, and I'm thinking I have to get rid of Moria just in case, because I'm going to be a 7k leader. He does have enough swings to potentially connect. I can use leader effect here to put in 2 life, but I do have to trash a card, so I'm just going to be at 1 card in hand. but we should at least have, you know, pretty much a way to get out of this. But I am gonna go, yeah, 9 to life, very easy Rebecca block. So I'll trash the Makino, just bringing back 2 to life. Not really worried about potentially having anything to be played from life. It's more just defense, right? I know that with 10 Dawn, he can get 4 7k swings through. He's got Hina, Perona, Brand New, and Leader. So 4 7k swings. I have a block, 2 life, and then a counter. So I'm perfectly safe. But with my opponent being in this position, having just dropped all of that counter and 2 blockers off the board, I mean, you have to go for game. You have no option other than I have to try and put my opponent on having no counter in hand. And he realizes that the odds are like super low that I don't have at least 1k counter in hand, but I mean, it's your best option at this point. So he's just trying to think it over. I think that, you know, with the cards in hand, there realistically isn't a way out. I mean, this match felt like we high rolled a lot of the aces as well as the sabos. Felt like we got pretty fortunate being able to be very aggressive and not keep a massive hand size like we did the previous game. But I think the time has come. Oh no, he's still mulling over it. He's still thinking about potentially using a different play, but I think 7's going to be his play, so I'm going to have to bottom deck the first one. I will bottom deck the second one. He's going to have to commit 2 here. I'll go ahead and block, and now the last 4 onto Brand New to be a 7k swing, and I will counter with the Makino, taking game 2 as well. Definitely a bad matchup for Moria, but a super fun game overall. I think that I'm just enjoying Black Yellow Luffy as a whole, but I can't wait for OPO7 where it really gets like a massive buff. I haven't ran into any Sakazukis locally yet, so that hasn't... I would like to get one of those matchups here soon, but I'll see if some of my homies can bring out the deck, because it's a miserable matchup, and Black Yellow Luffy just... it almost feels like an auto loss, but it is what it is. Hope you guys enjoyed the match, or I should say matches, and I'll catch y'all in the next one, alright? Peace.